Morning, everyone. This is Trend Follow this side, and it's that time of the week. Today, we'll see some of the zones, understand some of our biases, and accordingly make the plans for this week. I would say last week we nailed it with our bias. As I said, that JPY initially should act weak and then will act strong, and that's what happened. And similarly on DXY, right? So I think we've nailed it pretty well. So this week we have our theme also. I will go into that, but let's first look at the news for the week. So this week what we have is the most important one is CAD. So I can go with these, but let me confirm if yeah. So in this case, like first is Monday, Powell speaks. So that would be interesting. That can move the market. Then Australian dollar monetary policy, this may be, but mainly right now Powell wins. Then this would be interesting, CHF CPI. So this would get interesting. Uh, then later CAD. This one is the most important part, which is the rate statement. I do have some thoughts around this, but this would be the one where we should concentrate a lot. And then on Thursday, Euro, which is again interesting because it's later part of the week. So we'll see what happens there. From there, I guess non-farm that can bring choppiness. But I would say ideally my first priority would be CAD because it's before Euro and it happens on Wednesday itself. Then Euro and then USD. USD can be before also because Powell may move the market. This one it depends on the zones and the placement, but that's kind of it, right? So before we start off the plan, please listen to this line. This is very important. This whole month, things can be very difficult. We may be range bound or come back in range. So if we have some breakout, it would not be easy to expect that, oh, it can continue. So, like, what I'm trying to say is, like, just keep that in mind. Don't be fearful because of that, but be conscious about that and be cautious. Don't be fearful. Anyway, so with that in mind, let's plan for this week. This week, our main target would be USD weakness, number one. Next, JPY weakness, number two. I think those are the ones, and CAD strength, right? So the zones I want to talk about before even, I should say, before even the zone, I want to talk about DXY first, right? So DXY, we did say that this is what's gonna happen, right? I told you guys be patient with DXY after this red candle. We want DXY to come here and then we'll do anything. And when DXY came here, what happened? Perfect rejection. And that's what I was really thinking about, right? Now there are two cases that can happen. The names are less, so we'll talk about different cases, which is always better. One is you start the week and it starts falling, right? If that happens, I would ideally it should not take this and we come back here and then I will short to this zone. So that's case number one. The most the case I love the most would be you start the week, come back in this range, and then fall, right? I would love if we can come back here, right? So that's what I would love to see. But I generally don't think that's gonna happen. Why don't I think that's gonna happen? Is because of this this block, right? So I think we should continue going down. I'm already in GBPUSD. I don't know from how long, but the problem right now you are in these two zones, right? So if someone says, "Oh, it can go up," I will say yes. If someone says it can go down, I'll say yes, possible. So you don't know what will happen. but most probably it should go down. Why? Because the trend is clearly down. Now, but if you want to be safe, what you should really wait for is ideally come here, then do this, come here, then do this, something like that, right? So what I am waiting to see is how the market opens, and I personally feel the most probable is it comes here, almost forms equal lows, and then goes up and then comes down. So that's the plan I am making right now. Of course, if it gaps up and comes above here, then we'll have to watch the price action. Then, but I'm still bearish biased on DXY. I'm not bullish biased right now on DXY. So that's DXY for you. That's the most important one. And next, I want to talk about is Canadian dollar. I never thought I will talk about this. Like I don't like to trade USD CAD a lot because of my own reasons, my own logics. But here on USD CAD, so what will happen is, what's happening is it's damn bullish action, right? So you had this daily demand where it went up, and then there's daily demand here also, right? So ideally, you would like to see this, but I have explained to you guys before that when they are level on top of level, what I try to do is wait for the lower level or at least some smaller area, right? So what I saw here, I think it's more clear on USD CAD, is I would rather wait for price action to come in this area and ideally below this low. So if it goes up, okay, but that's my plan. So I would let it come here and then let it go up. I think it can do that. And the only way I will just buy from here is if it makes a higher high and then comes down, if that makes sense, right? If it doesn't make a higher high, I would rather enter here or the lower one, which is right here. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So that's CAD. Okay, the next one I wanted to talk about is JPY. So JPY at the start of the week, I do think uh will act strong, but later part of the week, I think, because of this whole block, you may see something like this, or you may see something like this. So I'm not saying play USD JPY right now. I'm just saying like later part of the week will be uh not later, but basically like if I want to play USD JPY, right? So then I will play, okay, I want it to come here again, and then I will play upside. So that's USD JPY plan for me. I will show it on the USD JPY. But on other thing, I will show further the names I have. It will all make sense. But if we are talking about just USD names, then there can be many. All USD names can start acting weak or strong depending on the name. But I would wait for this reason unless it breaks below, and then I will let it come here, right? So that's the plan for me. So if damn it, this is getting messy. Let me just remove these things. Yeah, here. We bring back this. So again, as I said, if it comes down, then okay, I will wait for this zone, right? If it doesn't come down, goes up, then I will wait for this zone, right? So either you have to come here for me to be interested on USD names, or you break down, show me that you are really weak, and when you come back up, then I'll short here. And it got really messy. I'm so sorry about that, but I hope it made sense. So that's DXY for me, and accordingly, I will play the USD JPY names. So those are some futures chart I wanted to talk about, and now we will look at some Forex chart. On Forex chart, let's start with USD CAD. Already we have gone through uh, the mhm, the futures chart. So it's the idea is the same because at last this follows the futures chart. What I'm trying to do here is, like So basically, as I said, this is an awesome daily supply, and then the level on top of level. So the only way I would, let's say, enter here in basically in this zone is if starting on what is that? Like if during the start of the week itself we come here, then I would not start of the week. If we basically don't break this low, don't make a lower low, then I will wait for this zone or this zone. Now, what is here, I will show, but before that, I want to complete this. Now, if we make a lower low, then I will enter in this zone, uh, right? Somewhere here. But if we don't make a lower low and we come here, then I will enter in this zone. So, what is in there? I think it's a 8 hour or 4 hour. Yeah, so this 8 hour. So, if you have seen the last video, I've explained this. So, if there is something like this, right? You made a low here, and there is a supply here or resistance, whatever, right? And then you want this pattern, right? So what is happening is exactly this. Now what I want is this one, right? So you come here and go down, or if you see all this as one, basically this, then I'm expecting a little higher high and then come down, right? So this is the reason we choose patterns like this. So what I want is either come here or here. If we make a lower low, then I can understand that I will enter here. I think I will try to enter in this zone. But if we don't make a lower low and come above, then I will enter here. Now, I personally do think that we'll first go down, and I will explain you why. Uh, One reason I do think that is happening is because of DXY. I told you, right? This daily. Now, also, we'll go through the next chart and it will make sense. So, on GBP USD, for example, right? You have this daily demand, and you you haven't, like, I wouldn't say it is holding for it is holding. Right now, you don't know what's happening, but within this region, firstly, there is this candle with a long wick. Plus, there was a very clean 4 hour demand. So I do think, it should go up from here. So that's the chart for GBP USD. And also, if you see GBP CAD, right? Look at this on daily. Look at this daily. Okay. So maybe what happens is I may have to change this to symbols. Interval is fine. So let's put GBP USD here. So what can happen is when GBP CAD come here, maybe comes here, GBP USD comes here, and we go up because there's a good daily demand here. But again, as I said, I will not focus on GBP CAD. I would rather take GBP USD, right? The second thing which I want to mention is if you see this is the red candle, right? This is the red candle. It's here. This is the red candle. It's here. Look at that SMT between these two, right? Even if you want to think about maybe this, yeah. So this is here, this is here, this is here, this is here. Clear SMT, right? So the probability of this area being low, this area being low is very high. Is it this one? Or yeah, this one being the low is very high. I think it should do this. So yeah, if you want to enter GBP USD, that's what you would do. So coming back to let's focus on our zones again. Symbol interval. Okay. So GBP USD, as I said, I think what is essential here for everyone to know is you have this monthly line here, monthly level. We discussed this in the previous videos. I will not go further than this, but I wanted to point out there's a 4 hour demand here. Max to max, I think this daily level can be touched, and then you should go up, right? That's what I think about GBP USD. The next name I wanted to talk about is CADJPY. So CAD JPY, I think what I want to see here is, I think this is one of the JPY is a name which I think initial part of the week will act where JPY will act strong. I think so. And the reason I say is like example, like for example, Euro JPY. Yeah, you may think, oh, it can go up, right? But right now, if you see this within this candle, what you have is it should come down. So I think JPY pairs should come down. I think so. So even if you look at CAD JPY, you are in here, right? So it should come back down to at least this area, right? So with JPY, I think that's what's gonna happen. We may see a pullback to these zones. At least that's what I would wait for. What is beautiful about JPY, or CAD JPY is the weekly chart is damn beautiful. What is weird to me on CAD JPY is when I say it will come down, I'm also saying that it will come below this, which is weird to me, right? So I think what can happen is something like this maybe. But point which I'm trying to mention here is when it comes in this region, right? So you will be in this weekly area, right? And I think it should then go from here. So that's what I would like to see on CAD JPY, that when it comes here, it should go in this area. But having said that, I want combination here with either AUDCAD or EURJPY, GBPJPY. But before we go to AUDCAD, let me do EURJPY and GBPJPY. This one is tough one, not because the idea is tough or something. This one is tough one is because you may have to be very patient with it. There are two ways to play it. One is JPY strength. Is this EURJPY? No, right? Um, oh, it went to. Yeah. So I think it should come down first. So you can, if it starts the week here and enters here, you can short it. I think most probably it should come down. So that's what I think should happen. But I'm not most probably playing that. And my reason is just because, the trend right now, JPY can go either ways. So I would like to see more information. But I think if you want to play, it's a good trade. Like the reason is if it comes here, this is a great, awesome zone which matches with weekly supply. And I think it should come down. And when I think more about it, maybe I will play it also. Something like this, right? Now, the more important point for me is this here, which is when it will come down, most probably the drawn liquidity is here, right? What I want to see when it comes down is either this one makes a weekly lower low, like it breaks this low and comes down, or GBPJPY comes here, right? The reason I say that is just because I feel like these zones are much more better and the trend is clearly down, so it should come down, or the medium term trend, even the long term, if you ask me. But I do think JPY is something which can reverse midweek. I think that is a big possibility. Start of the week, I think JPY will act strong, but midweek it should act weak. So for me, what I want to say with JPY is CAD JPY. I would like for CAD JPY to come in this zone, right? Ideally, let's move to daily. Ideally, yeah, so something like this, it would just make sense to me if it comes back to this zone, or Euro JPY, GBP JPY comes below this weekly low. That's where I will focus on JPY pair. And now you may see why some of this looks crazy on hindsight, right? Like crazy in terms of like, oh, you are saying weekly low, why not these zones and all? The reason is this particular month. I will have to be very cautious and go with extreme zones mostly. And the reason is I really feel this month may be very manipulated or very tough. So you have to be very cautious about the quality. Anyway, so My first priority is USD CAD. My second priority, first priority should be USD names. Okay. Your first priority should be USD names. If it comes to that zone, your second priority should be JPY names. That's the way I see it, right? So the next name is AUDCAD. AUDCAD, what I want to see is Australian dollar CAD. Again, CAD name, which I really like. I think what the zone I really like here is this above this weekly. So what is interesting about this zone, I call them vacuum zones. Basically, you have this long wick, right? You have this long wick. So when it comes back, and if it comes back, I should say, then I would like to short it here. This zone is also overlapping with the weekly zone. So max to max, there may be a pop a little bit till here max. So I will see where the price action takes it. But my area of I will start watching it here and end watching here, right? So I would love if it can come somewhere here and I can short it, right? So that's the plan with CAD JPY. Why do I think CAD J or odd CAD? Sorry. Why do I think odd CAD will bounce? At the start of the week is because there's daily demand, right? So there are two trades again also here that you have this daily demand overlapping with this daily demand. And you remember what I said, right? So at some point, what will happen is Australian dollar will start acting strong. And I don't think it would be like perfectly at the start of the week. But then, sorry, at some point, yeah, Australian dollar will start acting strong and JPY will start acting weak. Ideally, it should happen when we enter in this zone. After that, it should bounce back to here. That's the way I'm thinking about it. Right now, playing this to upside is more risky. And the reason I would say it is there's a daily supply here also. Can this happen? Sure, it can happen, right? So right now, that the most probable move, in my opinion, is it will bounce back, but then maybe it continues, right? Maybe it doesn't continue. So it will depend. What I would like to see here is it either comes into this region, which I think it should because this daily demand is damn strong. So it should come into that region. The other is you can also think of like this that you have this weekly low, and just above this weekly low, there's a there's a daily there's a daily supply, right? So you can also focus on this zone. So you get this zone and you get this zone. These two zones are my point of interest. My preference is here somewhere, right? Now, oh, then you have multiple zones. How will you short? So what I do in these cases, I will have these zones marked, right? With the mindset that I will only enter in this area somewhere here. But if this area comes when CAD JPY is also in this zone, then I will take it, you know. So that's the way I think about it. That if there are combinations happening, I will take it. Otherwise, these are the zones where my most preferred is this zone. Hope that made sense. Similarly on GBP or I told you right, I think EURJPY and GBPJPY can make a weekly low. I I am waiting for that also on will it happen or not? I really don't know. But if it happens, guys, please keep an eye on this. The reason is this would be such an awesome trade. What I think here is there is a possibility you have this weekly low, equal low template, whatever. I'll change it later. But there is a possibility you have equal low here, it comes down here, and I am waiting for this zone, right? So if it comes here, I will take this long. That's that's what I think on GBP or Australian dollar. Yes, you can argue that it can just go from here. So there are two zones again here. One is this zone. The only reason I don't like it so much is if you closely see it, basically, let's say this is the zone, right? This is a daily zone. You broke this low, if you were really that strong, you shouldn't have done that. So what I'm thinking is I would rather wait for this zone. Similarly, on euro, Australian dollar, I will wait for this zone, right? So on this particular instance, what I want to see is I will prefer euro Australian dollar mostly more than GBP Australian dollar, but that's the way I see it, right? What is interesting to me is this have higher equal highs, so that is good. The drawn liquidity is clear if it bounces. Okay, so though these are the names I'm looking at. On ES and NQ, I just wanted to point one thing so that everyone is aware is you see this, right? So basically, the month ended with a very strong candle, and I just want you guys to be aware of one thing, which is this whole thing can be considered as a good supply until and unless it breaks, and especially we are very close to preferred. So it is possible that you do something like this, or you just can do something like this. Point what I'm trying to mention is whatever move happens will be happening from a supply. So I think at least you will come back here with such a big long wick. If you want to really go continue going up, you need to get balanced. I would not like to see like big straight move up. So all I'm saying is, let's say it comes down, don't try to play reversal very soon. I think that may be risky. I just wanted to clear that out because we are in monthly supply. Uh, I just wanted that people don't call this as, like similarly here, if you see this whole thing is a monthly supply and within that there is this. So I think you are in for a pain. The bulls are in for a pain for at least half of the month. I do see we can continue up, but at least half of the month, I think there may be a manipulation. That's the way I'm seeing it. I just wanted to clarify that. So that's it for this video, guys. That's it. But again, my preference is USD names first and foremost, where my first preference would be USD CAD. The second thing, the second set of names would be JPY names. I think later part of the week, JPY may start acting weak. I think initial part for 1 or 2 days, it may act strong. Similarly for odd, right? But later on, I think JPY may start acting weak. So that's those are the biases and theories I will play with. Of course, if anything changes, you can follow me on Twitter. I will keep posting whatever I think, whatever are my thoughts, and that's it, right? All the best for this week, guys. Stay safe. Have a good trading week.